back to our channel. We're the Choose here from Choose to Explore, where we teach you guys how to see the world
and save $1.
So we just came back from an amazing trip in the Caribbean to the beautiful Dutch island of Curaçao.
So in this video, we're going to give you everything you need to know before you go to Curaçao, so all the tips and tricks to help you plan your most affordable trip.
Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one.
So the first thing you're going to need to know is where even is Curaçao. So it's one of the ABC Islands in the Southern Caribbean Sea, and the ABC Islands include Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao. And Curaçao is the largest of those three.
So this island is a Dutch territory, and it's actually really close to Venezuela. From different parts of the island, you can actually see the coast of Venezuela as well.
And we actually met a lot of Venezuelans while we were there in Curaçao.
On a previous trip, we actually went to Aruba, and in comparison, Aruba to Curaçao, I will say Aruba is more Americanized versus Curaçao, which is more of a European influence.
And a really cool thing about Curaçao is that it's actually located outside of the hurricane belt, so that's one less thing you need to worry about while you're planning.
So now let's talk about the climate in Curaçao. So being that it is in the Caribbean, you're going to have beautiful weather year-round.
So it's very warm and sunny, think 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can get pretty humid as well.
But also know that this island is not as green as a lot of other Caribbean islands that we visited. It also has some arid, dry areas, and some areas even look like desert to us as well.
Lots of cacti.
And in many ways, that arid landscape was a lot similar to Aruba as well. And I do also want to mention, with these arid climates, you can also have very strong winds, and that could mean choppy waves. So just be mindful that not all beaches you can swim in. And this ties in perfectly for our next point. When is the best time to go to Curaçao?
So between December to April, there is the high season, so you're more likely to find more budget-friendly experiences outside of those time frames. And one of the ways that we travel frequently is by visiting places during their off-season. So we actually created a travel guide of the best places to visit during the off-season, which is also linked in the description below, and you can find that on choosetoexplore.com.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about are the entry requirements to enter Curaçao as an American.
The first thing that you'll need is a valid passport, which means that it can't expire within 6 months before your departure date. And you'll also need to fill out the digital immigration card online, which is linked in the description below, and you'll need to do that within 7 days of departure because they won't let you board your flight without it.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the currency in Curaçao. Man, that's a tongue twister. So the official currency in Curaçao is going to be the Antillean guilder, also known as the Florin. Now, as an American, there were many institutions that did accept the US dollar as a form of currency. Many institutions often gave us prices in both US dollar as well as the Florin. But when I actually did the conversion, a lot of times the Florin rate was a lot better than the USD rate. So if you are trying to see the world and save $1 and get a better deal, I would recommend getting Florin out so you can get more for your dollar. But if it's just convenient for you to go with the US dollar, many places will accept it. One of the best things that we do that saves us a lot of money in both foreign transaction fees as well as ATM fees is we take out cash at ATMs with our Charles Schwab debit card. Now this card allows us to take out money from ATMs all around the world, get a local currency, pay no foreign transaction fees, and it also reimburses us every month for the ATM fees that we pay. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about is cash versus credit in Curaçao.
So while we were there, a lot of places did accept credit.
So while I could pay with my US credit card, I had to also pay with the US exchange rate. I could not actually pay with the Florin exchange rate. So that is something to know, because while it is more convenient to pay with your credit card, you are paying at the US exchange rate as well. So while many places did accept credit card, that is not everywhere on the island. We did go to some small local shops that were cash only. For example, when we went to the local markets and shops, a lot of those were cash only. And even some of the smaller local restaurants and food trucks were cash only.
So next we're going to get into the tipping culture. So pretty much, tipping is not expected in Curaçao.
But I will say that the hospitality in Curaçao was amazing. So many occasions, especially as an American, I am used to tipping, so I did tip. And a lot of people were grateful for those tips.
So now let's get into the language. So in Curaçao, they speak 4 languages. They speak Dutch, they speak the local Papiamento language, they speak Spanish, and don't you worry, they also speak English.
So during our time on the island, we did not meet one person who did not speak any English, which was great for us as American tourists because we were able to easily communicate with everyone. But the local language of Papiamento is a Creole language that integrates a lot of different languages into one.
So next up, we're going to go over how to get around in Curaçao. So the first thing you need to know is that Uber and Lyft don't exist in Curaçao. And if you want to take a taxi, that might be the most expensive way to get around.
But they definitely are available.
And if you're interested in a taxi driver / private driver, we actually have one included in our Explore Curaçao travel guide, linked in the description below, and it's also available on choosetoexplore.com. But the way that we got around was by rental car.
So typically when we travel, we rent a car because we love the freedom and flexibility that it gives us. One thing that was amazing about Curaçao is the roads are very smooth. Also, they are pretty well lit as well. As an American, they do drive on the same side that I'm used to,
which is on the right side of the road.
But I also will be mindful that there could be some potholes on the road as well.
And if you're looking for the cheapest way to get around the island, it's definitely by public bus. So fares are about 3 Florin or less for each ride, and there's a lot of different options, but the schedule can be limited. So now let's get into where you're going to stay in Curaçao. So we actually stayed in 2 different accommodations while we were there.
So before all our friends came, we actually booked the Airbnb, which was outside of the capital city, which is Willemstad. Now this Airbnb was outside the city, but it was amazing, and the hosts were phenomenal. Because we had a rental car, we were able to easily navigate in and out there without the hustle and bustle of being in the city. But we also did stay in an all-inclusive resort in Willemstad, which is the capital city. So one of the tools that we used in Curaçao in order to find the most affordable rates for our accommodation is Plannin.com.
So we really enjoy using Plannin because it's a user-friendly interface and it saves us a lot of money. So once you sign up for your free account with Plannin using our link, you'll get access to all these incredible deals.
And you can also see our recommendations for places that we've stayed in all around the world. So check the link in the description below.
So now let's talk about the top things to do in Curaçao.
So we actually made a video on our entire experience in Curaçao, including what we ate, where we stayed, what we did, and the prices for it all. And you can see that linked in the description or in the top right corner.
So the reason that most people will go to Curaçao is for the beautiful beaches. And just keep in mind that a lot of the beaches are on the rockier side, so definitely come prepared with some water shoes to help protect yourself so that you can have the most enjoyable experience while you're there.
But I will say, we've been to many beaches, especially in the Caribbean, and they have some of the bluest water and colors of turquoise that I've ever seen in my life.
And it's super clear, so you can see all the fish in the sea.
But it's not just fish. We actually went to one of my favorite beaches in the world, and that's in the north shore of the island. And there we got to actually swim with sea turtles.
Yeah, so we actually have an entire video on the best beaches in Curaçao that's also linked in the description below.
But Curaçao has a lot of nightlife and amazing beach bars. There was even a day where I left the group and I went to Klein, Curaçao on a boat trip by myself and had an amazing time. This honestly was my favorite beach that I visited in Curaçao. But it takes a lot to get there. And you can see all of that in our full video.
And there's also tons of culture and lots of colorful streets and art and everything to see in Willemstad. So definitely don't just check out the beaches, also check out the city side as well. Which includes the districts of Punda and Otrabanda, which are actually connected by the floating bridge, which is the Queen Emma Bridge. And we also included over 30 of the top things to do in Curaçao, as well as over 10 top dining options in Curaçao as well, included in our Explore Curaçao travel guide, so you don't want to miss that.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the Curaçao cuisine. So being that Curaçao is a Caribbean island that is a territory of the Dutch, that is close to Latin America, you're going to have so many influences in the flavors of the cuisine here in Curaçao. I'll be honest with you, my favorite part about Curaçao are the food trucks. Now these aren't going to be like your typical food trucks. Here you're going to find more affordable prices than the big fancy restaurants, but a lot of these are open late at night. Many of them open from 8 o'clock to well after midnight. So while there is amazing nightlife in Curaçao, after the party, head to the food trucks. Here you could typically get meat, fries, or as they call them on the island, frites. But one thing that you cannot miss here is the Punda sauce. Now, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but when I'm on the island, I do as the islanders do. So to my knowledge, the Punda sauce is more like a peanut dressing. And they pour it all over your food. Trust me, try it. It is amazing. Throughout my time here, I put the Punda sauce on everything. And that includes my meat, fries, salad. I mean, anything I saw, I threw the Punda sauce on it.
Now let's get into something that I liked. I really enjoyed the smoothies. So they had so many amazing, great fresh fruits and it was so delicious.
Actually, on our first day in Curaçao, we stopped at 3 or 4 smoothie bars and they all were so affordable and great flavors. And also because this island is a Dutch island, you have to try the Dutch pancakes. So these are not like your American pancake that is big and fluffy. These are going to be more similar to like a crepe, like a really flat, crispier flavor. For our recommendations, check out our Explore Curaçao travel guide. And when we told many people that we were going to Curaçao, a lot of people didn't even know where Curaçao was. But they did know what blue Curaçao liqueur is. So it should be no surprise, blue Curaçao originates from the island of Curaçao. And it has a really unique backstory. So people brought a variety of citrus fruits to the island. So because of the arid climate, they had a lot of difficulty growing these citrus fruits. But this problem that they had actually turned into the famous blue Curaçao liqueur. It's actually from the peels of the citrus fruit that gives you that liqueur. So definitely when you're here, check out that blue Curaçao liqueur.
So next up, we're going to talk about safety.
So we will only talk about our experience traveling through the island. So majority of the time we spent together. And there was not one instance where we felt unsafe. And I had my camera out the whole time, my drone out, and I never felt threatened on any occasion. And that's going into more remote locations as well as in the heart of the city.
And that's why we always travel with Safety Wing Travel Medical Insurance.
While I love Safety Wing, it is relatively affordable. As we are both under 35 years of age, we are able to travel for under $2 a day for travel medical insurance. And it covers so many things, from lost baggage to missed flights. And if you need to go to the hospital, it has you covered as well. So it's really a low risk, high reward in why we travel with Safety Wing.
And we have that linked in the description below as well.
So there you guys have it, our top tips to navigate Curaçao. If you guys are going to Curaçao, please let us know in the comment section below. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.